Preserving the rich Naga cultural and traditional heritage, particularly that of Lotha tribe, the class 12 students of Don Bosco Higher Secondary School, Wokha, took part in cultural activity on 25th July 2022 at the school premises. Realizing the need to preserve the rich cultural heritage of the Lothas and promoting skill development, the event showed light under the initiative of language teacher Marcus Humsoy. He lamented that at this fast-changing world, the students are influenced with Western and other alien culture, which gradually makes the young people forget their own culture and identity. He encouraged the students to give importance to the rich cultural heritage of the Lothas and carrying it forward throughout generations. Reverend Father T.C. Joseph, while addressing the students, said that the students must learn their culture and also appreciate the good in the culture, and he further encouraged the students to learn and appreciate their own culture without forgetting the roots and serve the society in the best way possible. Hello, I'm Atujama and you're watching HornbillTV Spam at 9, now news and details. Newly sworn in Draupadi Murmu on Monday assumed the office of the President of India at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. She assumed office in a handing over ceremony from outgoing President Ramnath Kovind. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed President Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan. After assuming office, President Murmu inspected a Tri-Services Guard of Honor at the forecourt of the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Former President Kovind, whose 5-year term ended on Sunday, left from Rashtrapati Bhavan and arrived at his new residence on Janpat Road. Kovind was allotted 12 Janpat as his retirement home in June this year. The bungalow was occupied previously by the family of the late Union Minister Ram Vilas Paswan. Before moving to his new residence, the Tri-Services Guard of Honor was presented to the former President Kovind at Rashtrapati Bhavan. President Murmu was today administered the oath of office by Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday said that the entire nation watched with pride as Draupadi Murmu took oath as the President of India, calling it a watershed moment for the country's poor, marginalized and downtrodden. Taking to Twitter, the PM said Murmu's first address as president was about giving a message of hope and compassion. She emphasized on India's accomplishment and presented a futuristic vision of the path ahead at a time when India is marking Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The entire nation watched with pride as Draupadi Murmu ji took oath as the President of India. Her assuming the presidency is a watershed moment for India, especially for the poor, marginalized and downtrodden. I wish her the very best for a fruitful presidential tenure, he further wrote. Four Congress MPs were suspended from Lok Sabha for the rest of the session for displaying placards and disrupting proceedings despite a warning by Speaker Om Birla. Amid continuous disruptions, the chair named Congress MPs Manikam Thakur, T.N. Pratapan, Jyoti Mani and Ramya Haridas. Later, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi moved a resolution to suspend the four for the rest of the session. The House then passed a resolution by a voice vote and Rajendra Agarwal, who was chairing the proceedings, announced their suspension. He later adjourned the proceedings for the rest of the day. Congress reacted sharply to the development, saying government trying to intimidate us by suspending our MPs. They were trying to raise issues which matter to the people. Earlier, Lok Sabha proceedings were adjourned amid protests by opposition members over price rise. Speaker Om Birla had warned the protesting members, including from the Congress, TMC and DMK, that those who continue to shout slogans, display placards, would have to do it outside the House. The All Manipur Nupi Marup has demanded 33% reservation for women at both houses of parliament as well as state assembly. During the women's convention held at Manipur Press Club's office in Imphal, the members unanimously passed a resolution that a long pending bill should pass at the monsoon session of parliament. The members asserted that importance of passing 33% reservation for women. Nupi Marup representative said it is high time that women reservation bill should be passed. She maintained that women will think that the country is really serious on women empowerment only when the bill is passed.
Nupi Marup na sinjadana women convention ama 33% women reservation bill ki matang da pangthok saribasi hojdi Lok Sabha gi mifam se monsoon session chathringai manung sida pass tobiu haibani hariba bill se sahi kun manga hena pending toroga la aba bill ni solsumuga samapan mogdra tarukta par Lok Sabha da uthoki sigi bill si hariba bill si makoi puthopodo fail oi adubu loina na fail oi re adubu madu amu select committee mata thadare hariba select committee si Sigi chairman se Gita Mukherjee haidana koi Bengal regi karapi MB amana chairperson je oeba hariba bill se tha ani gi manung ani ahung gi manung da moi phajana study tawraba matungda koi December gi tang 8 da amuk parliament.
Ahead of the Commonwealth Games 2022, which is set to begin in a few days' time, Tokyo Olympics 2020 bronze medalist and boxer Lovingya Borongyan has made a shocking allegation of mental harassment. The 24-year-old has alleged that her coaching schedule has been disrupted because of the harassment her coaches are facing, as they are not being permitted to enter the premises where she is currently training. Borongyan went to the extent of stating that despite several requests from her, she and her coaches are facing immense amounts of mental harassment. As a result of this alleged harassment, Lovlina said that she is finding it difficult to understand how can she focus on her preparations for the Commonwealth Games 2022. She ended her post by stating that because of such politics, her last World Championship was also impacted. Via a post put up on her official Twitter handle, Lovlina said, "With deep sadness today, I have to inform you that I am being mentally harassed. The coaches who helped me win a medal in Tokyo are being constantly removed, with my training and competitions being consistently interrupted." The Nagaland State Disaster Management Authority has issued a statement giving weather updates for the coming days and asking citizens to be cautious. Due to strong lower-level south-westerly winds from the Bay of Bengal to northeast India during July 27 to the 29th, moisture intrusion is very likely to occur. The NSDMA stated in its updates on Monday. Under its influence, fairly widespread rainfall accompanied by thunderstorm, lightning and heavy to very heavy rainfall is expected in isolated places in the state. Moderate rainfall with thunderstorm and lightning is very likely over the districts of Kifire, Kohima, Longleng, Mokokchung, Mon, Peren, Pek, Tuensang, Noklak and Woka during July 26 to the 28th, NSDMA informed. Public are asked to be vigilant during the pre-monsoon period and to not shelter under large trees and near river banks to avoid unnecessary risk to life from lightning and flash flood. Tipupar village today held mass rally to make the Tipupar alcohol-free village. During the rally, the village council resolved to ban sale of alcohol and drugs within its jurisdiction. The council also cautioned that anybody found selling alcohol or indulging in drugs business will be expelled from the village and also seize their land records. Let's have a look.
Aje Tipupar Village Council Gambra itu Taigan laga busti Tipupar alcohol free zone banabo laga icha pra aji tagan rasta te ulai gena councils kan ulai gena busti manugan sob kiman ase ate ulai gena tagan itu yade Tipupar busti pitor de mudu bikri kura dawai bikri kura kan ke tan ekta message digena yade Tipupar itu Dipupar to alcohol free zone banaule karne takan aji rasta te ulaina yate Dipupar pitor de busti pitor de kun hoilibi itu modu bikri kurase nohilibi dawai kan bikri kura kan ke itu nakura hoi jabi itu takan itu ajibra itu dukan kan kun khurilebi itu hati jabi koigina takan ekta message loigina aji yate public rele Dipupar itu busti pitor de takan 3 mile bra ahigina yate itia maiki obi youths kan obi sob busti manu kan ahigina yate aji match rele koigina ekta message takan dia se Dipupar de inika mudu bikri kura dawai bikri kura iku itu biya saman kan itu nadibo koigina takan aji bahar de ulaigina yate residents kan logote bi takan ekta message digina takan aji rele jai ase to mugan dikhanisna youths kan hoilibi maiki kan hoilibi kun hoilibi aji rasta te ulagena takan aji message ekta youths kan ke yate takan ke message dia ase takan aji bra takan itu Dipupar busti de tu alcohol free zone banabo nimite takan itia rele jai ase itu bichite muan aro youths kan hoilibi councils kan hoilibi takan ke aro kota kuribo apni an ke takan laga message aro takan laga resolutions ki ase apni kan ke muan dikhai dibo to mui cameraman ke lop dikhai dibole koi dibo
we have making resolution that if any seller, any alcohol sellers is a valid order, we are going to cancel the pata, village pata, and they will be that will be belong to council. That is one. Number two is that if the outsider is in our village, we'll have to kick out from our village. And if the landowner is protected, then we'll have to kick out those protected. And resolution is already passed, so we'll have to follow the resolution. And anti-elements should not be prevail in our village. We have not only a few years back, but it's some decades ago, the village authority is trying to stop the alcohol. Not only alcohol, but drugs also. We have tried to stop, but still then there are some elements, some antisocial elements were also involving. That's way, and the reason behind is for alcohol and drugs that is spoiling their generation, and many families are facing lots of problems regarding this alcohol, especially the children. Generation is facing problem. Many families are divorcing. Many properties are selling through for this alcohol, using of alcohol, especially the.
DNW Khandu Council fully standing order diginasi. It's been we've been working on this for nearly 2 to 3 decades now. Really do success no gore dia thak. Really phali ni elements outsider kan bishi involve ase. Idura mukhan itu ajitak success kurun bari. Idura mukhan idiado pusimanu sob madigina. Kharab really hobo korna this time to iman rally do organize kora ase to ami gushes korna pishi gushes korna gure ase to ami khala resolution de idia thora do idia do newspaper de publish korbo because most of the bootleggers they are from outside only Dibubar citizen kan do duida dinna khane ase and neighboring village like itu United Khan Banchmal ki ase Shova Khan itu Khan neighboring village Chimal Takpia yaze. Idubra one itu action to be Kinyabi Lulin Pariobla Council Hambi itu yaze.
Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma confirmed having a conversation with opposition's vice presidential candidate Margaret Alva and asserted that he has no role to play in the vice presidential polls as he is not a member of the Electoral College. This comes after Margaret Alva reached out to chief ministers of various states as part of a campaign to garner support for the elections. Besides speaking to the Assam Chief Minister, she also spoke to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, and Karnataka CM Baswaraj Bommai. Informing this, CM Sarma took to Twitter and wrote, Alva Margaret spoke to me this morning. I politely told her that I am not a member of the Electoral College. As such, I have no role in the election of Vice President of India. This development comes days after Trinamool Congress (TMC) decided to abstain from voting in vice presidential elections. Vice presidential candidate Margaret Alva on Sunday said that she will ask Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Bharatiya Janata Party National President Jagat Prakash Nada to vote for her. The Central Bureau of Investigation has busted a racket of imposters and arrested 4 people for allegedly attempting to cheat certain people by assuring them Rajya Sabha berths for ₹100 crore. People familiar with the development said. Besides Rajya Sabha seats, the accused persons also promised to arrange governorship and chairmanship of different government organizations in lieu of bribes, they said. According to the first information report filed on July 15, those names include Kamalkar Prem Kumar Bandkar of Maharashtra's Latur, Ravindra Vithal Naik of Karnataka's Belgaum, and Delhi NCR based Mahindra Pal Arora, Abhishek Pura and Mohammad Aijaz Khan. The FIR alleged that Bandar posed as a senior CBI officer and flaunted his connections with highly placed officials. He then asked Bura, Arora Khan and Naik to bring any sort of work that he could fix in lieu of payment of huge illegal gratification. The accused, the CBI said, conspired with the sole ulterior motive of cheating private persons by falsely assuring them for arrangements of seats in Rajya Sabha. The Kerala High Court has ruled that the child of an unowned mother or of a raped victim is a citizen of the country and nobody can infringe any of their fundamental rights, which are guaranteed in the Constitution, and said that the petitioner has the right not to specify the name of the father in the identity documents. Single bench of Justice P.V. Krishnan gave a judgment on a writ petition seeking to expunge and remove the father's name from the birth certificate and directed for the issuance of a certificate showing the mother's name only as a single parent. The Uddhav Thackeray-led Shiv Sena moved a fresh petition in Supreme Court on Monday seeking a halt on proceedings before the Election Commission regarding recognition of the real Shiv Sena. The plea before the poll panel was moved by the group led by Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. The development comes days after the EC asked the rival factions of the Shiv Sena to submit documents by August 8 to prove their majority and support their claims on the election symbol, bow and arrow, of the political outfit. The two sides have been asked to submit documents including letters of support from the legislative and organizational wings of the party and the written statement of rival factions. The fresh plea has been filed in a pending petition by Subhash Desai, the General Secretary of Shiv Sena, and seeks the nod of the top court to make the poll panel also a party. The Thackeray faction has also written to the poll panel requesting it not to go ahead with the plea of the Shinde faction in view of the pendency of a batch of petitions in the top court. The plea terms the plea of the rival Shinde group to get the poll symbol and attack of the real Shiv Sena as an act of desperation. Nearly 2 weeks after the Sri Lankan presidential office witnessed an unprecedented protest seeking the removal of the then President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, it has now reopened amid tight security arrangements. However, even after Ranil Wickremesinghe appointed as the country's president, protests continued in the debt-ridden crisis-hit country. Earlier this month, a large number of anti-government protesters seized Sri Lanka's presidential palace, resulting in Rajapaksa fleeing the country amid the possibility of being mobbed by the enraged protesters. Television footage showed hundreds of people inside the well-fortified house and on the grounds outside, some taking a dip in the garden pool and others in a jubilant mood. The protesters were seen chanting slogans against the then president Kota Go Gamas or Go Go, blaming the former president for the entire crisis the country has been witnessing since the COVID-19 pandemic hit the country. Some footage showed the protesters relishing music at the presidential palace. A South Africa-based rights group has submitted a criminal complaint to the Attorney General of Singapore requesting the arrest of former Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa for alleged war crimes. Lawyers from the International Truth and Justice Project submitted a 63-page complaint that argues that Rajapaksa committed grave breaches of the Geneva Conventions during the Civil War in 2009. When he was Secretary of Defense, and that these are crimes subject to domestic prosecution in Singapore under universal jurisdiction. Delhi logged 16 cases of dengue in July, and with this, the total number of cases this year has gone up to 159 according to a Municipal Corporation of Delhi report. No death has been reported due to dengue so far this year in the national capital, according to the report. Earlier in June, there were 32 cases of dengue in the national capital. MCD data shows that between January 1st and June 25th this year, Delhi reported 134 dengue cases. Curiously, the monthly dengue cases since January have been the highest ever recorded since 2017, when the civic agency started proper bookkeeping. Chinese President Xi Jinping on Monday sent a congratulatory message to Draupadi Murmu on her assuming office as the President of India, saying that he attaches great importance to China-India ties and wishes to push the bilateral relation in the right direction. In his message, Xi pointed out that China and India are important neighbors of each other, and that a healthy and stable China-India relationship is in line with the fundamental interests of the two countries and the people, as well as conducive to peace, stability and development in the region and across the world, Xinhua News Agency reported. The Seochang Area Students' Union initiated a tree plantation drive for the United Sanctum Heritage Village. Speaking to HornbillTV, the Vice President of SASUT, Thinglise spoke about the importance of any individual or society taking small steps such as planting trees in an era where people are experiencing the negative impact of climate change. Mentioning the cultural importance of Sangpure Heritage Village for the Sanctum community and the Naga community as a whole, he encouraged the USLP and USSC to take necessary actions towards the development and progress of the village.
We really encourage and we are really thankful, for your wonderful service over here. Today they are taking this initiative of tree plantation mission. Can you please tell us about the objective of this tree plantation mission?
Okay, we are at Sampur village. This Sampur village has declared as the Sanctum Heritage Village on 3rd of June. So it's our responsibility to bring change and development. So we have taken the initiative. We have planned this for past 2 weeks. We have bought 150 seedlings of different trees. So along with executive members and some secretaries, our main objective is to take a lead role in bringing change and development. Yeah.
So as we have heard from the Vice President of Seochang Area Student Union, the fact of the matter is this, that in the times when the world is facing the challenge of climatic situation, the global warming, this kind of initiative should really be encouraged. Most human beings, we tend to utilize the resources available given to us by the nature, but most of us forget to give it back to nature. So this is a really good example and initiative, and maybe all come together in this small initiative to make our world a better place. So sir, is there anything more like you want to add to this day, like the message or any encouragement, word of encouragement in that?
First of all, I want to encourage the Nagas in general to kindly take the part in planting trees. These days we are facing different climate change, and it's our responsibility to save the global, and it's our responsibility to plant trees and to save the climate too. Especially I want to encourage the different organizations under the banner of UCLB and USSC to kindly take the initiative in bringing change and development in this Sampur village, which is the heritage village of Sangtam Heritage Village. And your little contribution will impact a lot on the process of change and development. Yeah, thank you.
I am Kitoka Sangtam, reporting for HornbillTV, Sampur, Kifri.
That's all we have for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.